so lovely. It was so everything. So I want to introduce our speaker, Reverend Paul John Roach. Paul John Roach is a native of Wales from the United Kingdom. You will hear that when he starts speaking with his, I don't know what to call it, charming. It's a very charming accent. He's a graduate of Jesus College, Oxford University, has a bachelor's and a master's in English and a postgrad in education from the University of Wales. He was ordained at Unity Ministerial School in 1988. He served as senior minister at Unity of Fort Worth from 1988 until he retired in 2018. He has also served the Unity movement on boards and teams, including the board of Unity World Headquarters. He hosted a podcast entitled World Spirituality with Reverend Paul John Roach, and you can look at those on Podbean, Spotify, and Apple. Paul is the author of an award-winning book, Unity in World Religions, which focuses on the perennial philosophy within all spiritual traditions. He is currently working on his second book about his journey to India. This guy is so interesting, you all. I think he'd be a perfect minister for us. So, just saying, I mean, you've been in retirement way too long. Yeah. So he wrote this little book called Essential Unity. Isn't this cool? So everything you want to know about unity is in here. It's got metaphysics, it's got the principles, it's got spiritual teachings, and it's a great book if you're new to unity. I put them out on the next desk. Pick up one, and if you're old to unity, pick up one. Great. I mean, new stuff. I read it last night, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that. So thank you, Reverend Paul. Paul has traveled extensively throughout the world, including extended stays in India and Nepal. He believes joy, laughter, and gratitude are essential qualities on the spiritual path. He is married to Wendy, and she is a retired builder, artist, sailor, and active in service to the local community. Wendy has one daughter, Natalie, and together they have 4 grandchildren. Let's welcome Reverend Paul.
Thank you so much. You're so welcome. Very nice introduction.
You're welcome.
I also have a daughter who's with me today, Miriam. She's brought her whole family, and so that's awesome. Thank you. Glad you could be with us. I think this is my 3rd time here this year, so I'm more, almost like your minister, aren't I? I'm coming every other month here. Not quite. It's great to be here, though, and the thing we're going to have is fun, right? No matter what else goes on, going to leave with a smile on our faces. Life isn't so bad, yeah? Going to promise to do that? So my topic today is civility and grace in an often uncivil and graceless world. And I could talk forever about the graceless and uncivil behavior that we see all around us and within us sometimes. I could talk forever about that, but guess what? I'm not going to. Yes. We could fill the whole sermon with misery, couldn't we, if we wanted to? But we're all too familiar with it. And so it doesn't have to be repeated over and over again. And guess what? This isn't a new thing. History is full of graceless and uncivil behavior, yeah? You just read a history book. If it's anything to do with the scrabbling for power, which is what we're talking about, that's why we're graceless and uncivil, because we want a bigger piece of the pie. And as long as we're struggling for power, then there's always going to be that kind of behavior. So don't get too hepped up about it, right? But that's the nature of this world. And Jesus called it the world when he was referring to the world of conditionality. But it was the universe, the kingdom of heaven, when he was talking about the truth, right? They're very different places in consciousness. And if we allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by the, help me, world, right, we're going to get down and dirty. We're not going to have a good time. Jesus in John 16:33 says, in the world you have tribulation, right? The Buddha also said, life is suffering. A better translation is dissatisfaction. Life is unsatisfactory in some way, right? But we often use the word suffering. In other words, they both understood that from that context, from the world's context, life is tribulation and unsatisfactory, yeah? And we've been there, yeah? Luckily, they didn't end their statements like that, did they? They didn't, life is, in the world there's tribulation, you may as well crawl into a hole and die. Oh, that would be a great message, wouldn't it? What did he say instead? In the world there is tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have, the Christ in me, the truth in me, has overcome the world, right? Isn't that good news? In the world there is tribulation. Be of good cheer. Have some fun. Have some joy. Lighten up. I've overcome the world. There is a way through, beyond the power systems, the way into truth. The Buddha said the same thing. He said, life is dissatisfactory, life is suffering, but it's because we crave and grasp. If we can let go and allow the beauty of the world to be what it is in truth, then we will be free. And so our focus today is not on the tribulation or the suffering, but it's in the overcoming and in the freedom that comes when we remember what's really going on, yeah? We're going to need somebody to say, yeah, back. Yeah, all right, very good. We're on the right path then. We may not be able to change the power systems of this world, right? And that could be frustrating sometimes because we'd like to see change, yes? But the thing is, we can change, we can talk and demonstrate truth to power. And that's what Jesus did. Now, they strung him up and killed him because of that. But the message they couldn't kill, yeah? The truth of his being they couldn't kill. All they could kill was the body. But the message continues, yes? And in the same way, the Buddha died, ironically enough, from having some mushroom curry, supposedly. It was tainted. You know, be careful with those mushrooms. He died, but the message continues, because the message is not just about the body, is it? It's about the spirit. It's about the truth of what is real in this world, right? That's what we hold fast to. And that can only begin, that awareness of the truth can only begin where? Inside of us, in our consciousness, yes? In our consciousness, in our attitudes, in our choices, and in our actions. That's where we have true power, the real power, not the power of the world, but real power of the truth flowing in and through us. That's how it comes, through that consciousness, through that awareness. We know this in Unity because we talk about it all the time. We did that for the first 25 minutes of this message today, didn't we, this service today? We lifted ourselves up with the affirmations, with the beautiful music, with the reminder of who we are in truth. So, what informs your consciousness on any given day? And if we're good Unity students, we'll say, oh, I'm always centered and poised in the Christ. I'm always in the flow of God's good. But we'd probably be lying. Because for most of the day, we're not there yet, right? We have moments of it, but it's not always there. We have this little nasty little animal that we're playing with. It's kind of furry, but it's not very nice. It's called I, me, mine. I, me, mine. And we're always trying to show it off to everybody else. My cute little I, me, mine. Sometimes we call it the ego, yeah? I, me, mine is all right when it gets stroked. But if it's got some antagonism going on, it's very nasty. It can be very ugly. It sees things in dualistic terms, yeah? Because I, me, mine sees me as being the right one. You are okay as long as you go along with me. And we could even make I, me, mine part of our spiritual path. I'm going to claim my good because I deserve it. Who's talking then? Sometimes it can be spirit, but often it's not. We're trying to aggrandize our ego. I want it to work out the way I want it to work out. Yeah? I, me, mine. I, me, mine is very ugly when it doesn't get its way. When the dualisms of the world don't suit it, pain and pleasure, right and wrong, you and me, good and bad, the whole thing. We get involved in that. And I'm trying to get my piece of the pie, yeah? I'm scrabbling for it, and I could be graceless, and I could be uncivil at times in that process. But again, we're not talking about the problem. We're going to focus on the solution, because I, me, mine is only real in the world's terms. If you look at the universe's terms, you notice something different, right? If you look at the universe, what do you notice about it? A couple of things. You throw some out at me, and then I'll see what I got. What do you see when you look at the universe? The whole ball of wax. Somebody said something good, but I couldn't hear it. Speak. What? Massive. Expansive. Order. It's in order. I mean, everything happens, doesn't it? The sun doesn't wake up one morning and says, man, that was a hard night last night. I'm going to take the day off. Doesn't do that. The sun is going to shine no matter how much it drank the night before. It's expansive. It's in order. Everything's interconnected, right? There's no gap. There's no space. There's no boundaries in the universe, right? There's simply this seamless flow from one thing to the other. When you fly in a plane over the states, you don't see all the states, do you? You see the country, one country. So the universe is connected. And guess what? We are part of the universe, therefore, in truth, we are connected. There is no sense of them and us in the universe. That's a construct we learned as children to survive in this seeming difficult world. But the reality is we're all one. We are connected. There is no separation. And I'm not talking intellectually, I'm talking factually, right? So therefore, we are one with the one, we are one with each other, yeah? In a very real sense. There's a statement by Kalu Rinpoche. He said this, and I love these words, because this is the key to shift. And we all know the bumper sticker. Shift happens. This is what he wrote. He says, we live in illusion and the appearance of things. There is a reality. We are that reality. When you understand this, you see that you are nothing. And being nothing, you're everything. That's all. Easy for him to say at the end, isn't it? That's all. Great. Let's read it again. We live in illusion and the appearance of things when we buy into the view that this world is real, right? And all its ups and downs and dualities is real. It's not, right? The reality is something more beautiful than that. And we can let go of the illusion and the appearance of things to come to the truth of our being. H. Emily Cady, in Lessons in Truth, do you ever read that wonderful text? She suggested, what do you want, bondage or liberty? Which? I love that title, bondage or liberty. If you want bondage, then buy into the world of power and control, yeah? And rail against it, and how awful it is. But it sucks, that's no way to live. But if you want real liberty, come to the universe and understand the flow, understand the completeness of it, the expansion of it. Did you know that heaven in the Greek, in the New Testament, means expansion? So the kingdom of heaven, when Jesus talked about the kingdom of heaven, he was talking about the kingdom of expansive good, all possibility. And he was saying, you are that. The kingdom of heaven is within you and among you. It's here, right? Can you accept that? Beautiful, expansive way of looking at stuff. So there is a reality. You are that reality, that limitlessness. When you understand this, you see that you're nothing. Nothing in the sense that your little I, me, mine is really not that important. You know, I'm not saying you got to get rid of your little pet here, but maybe you might have considered it, you know. Get a real pet. You don't need I, me, mine anymore. It's nasty. When you see that you're nothing, then you are everything. Being nothing, you're everything. What have you done? You've swapped something tiny for something magnificent, yeah? I don't have to be the big Paul with all the things that he's done, which is nice, but that's not me, right? Who I am is very different to that, yeah? Who you are is very different from your resume. Your resume sounds good in the world's terms, but in real terms, how well are we living this reality of being everything and nothing, of letting it go, of being humble? Because when we do make that shift, and it's the greatest shift we can ever make in our lives, and we make it not just one time, we make it over and over again. Every time we remember, yeah? We're making this shift into a larger, more wonderful, more gracious life. We find then that we have everything we need, right? Because we are in line with the universe, which is infinite. So therefore, we are infinite. That's amazing. We're at ease. We're graceful. We're easygoing. We're friendly. We're able to give. We're generous. We're patient. We're all the things we really want to be, right? All the things that our heart desires us to be is already there in us. It sounds wonderful, doesn't it? But like somebody said, I got a lot of comments when I put up some information about this sermon on the internet. And one lady said, when I was writing something about being and non-being, beyond being and non-being is the immensity of the real, she goes, blah, blah, blah. And I said, what do you mean by that? And she said, being and non-being, what the? Just saying what she wrote. And, I understand that because we can talk like this all day, can't we, about how you have the infinity of the universe flowing through you and all that. But it can be blah, blah, blah if you're not careful, right? Because we've been there before. We've listened to good unity services before. And we're the same old person we were, right? You ever notice that? How come I haven't transcended yet? I just got back from Bhutan with my wife, and we had an amazing couple of weeks up in that Himalayan kingdom. And one of my good friends back in Fort Worth, he says, I'm surprised you're back. I thought you would have transcended into a rainbow by now. I said, no, I haven't. Let's go for a drink. It's not that easy, is it? And so rather than end the sermon just on, ooh, isn't it nice? It's wonderful. I'm going to give you 10 what I think are practical steps to do this. And, whenever there's a number or steps, there has to be a pop quiz, doesn't there? Yeah, there has to be. So the pop quiz this week is very easy, though. It's a simple one. I'm going to just ask you which one of these 10 resonates with you, which one struck a chord, and what are you going to do about it, right? So that's not difficult, is it? Surely 1 out of 10 is going to be striking a chord with you. So we'll just get a few responses after we've gone through the 10 here. So number 1, we've already mentioned it. You already have it in truth. It's already here. The kingdom of heaven is not something for the future, right? The kingdom of heaven is within you and within us right now. That means we can claim it right now, yes? So much of religion is shunting it off till a later time, isn't it? Until it's all the circumstances are right, or until you die and go to heaven if you've done all the right things. But no, this is not the truth. You already have it right now. What are you waiting for? Why not demonstrate it, yes? You are capable of all these things we just talked about. The world of dualism drags us down. The world of unity, the world of oneness, of being seamlessly connected to the universe, is what enables us to exhibit wonders that we could never have guessed were possible for us. We already have it right now in truth. So no excuses, yeah? Some of us call ourselves truth seekers. There's a problem with being a seeker. What is it? You're not there yet. What are you going to be instead? A finder. I'm a truth finder. I found it. Yay! So if you find it, then you have to live it. And that's why most of us are still seekers. Because wait a minute, it's a lovely idea, but if I actually find it, I have to live from it. Oh dear, that might be a little hard. All right, moving on. Cogitate that one for a while. Another interesting response I got on Facebook when I put out this sermon idea was, and it was from another minister. By the way, both these were from ministers. Shock horror, even the first one that said blah, 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 yeah. You can trust these ministers, man. It's all blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to speak to you today. Now, the other one was a little more aligned with what I like. She said, love is God in me. Love is God. And that's what she says to herself when she forgets the truth and starts buying into the graceless and uncivil world that we live in. She reminds herself, love is God in me. Love is the way that God expresses. And so I need to remember that and live from love. I like it. Number 2, it's already here, but you have to remember it every day, don't you? And I find that I have to use mantra in my case. Affirmation you could use, but something that reminds you of the truth of your being. And if you don't have a practice where that's happening, it's not just good enough to have a little prayer every so often, I don't think. I think it needs to be more continuous, right? To have some kind of statement, mantra, word of truth that is meaningful to you that you can use on a daily basis, even an hourly basis. So I encourage you, if you haven't developed that yet, to have that, because we need the reminding that the I, me, mine in us needs reminding that it is not in charge, that there is something greater in charge. That's number 2. 3, seek out inspiration. Well, coming to church is that, isn't it? We're looking to be inspired. Find a teacher that's meaningful to you. I have many teachers that I love. A lot of them are in books, and I read their books. But I also seek out living teachers as well, people I can touch. It's important to have a teacher that you trust, right? Because we don't always see it clearly. We need a teacher to point out things for us. Books can be good, as long as we don't get lost intellectually in those. Nature is good for me, to inspire me, to remind me I am in this universe. Like we said, what a beautiful day it is today, to be grateful for the sunlight and the possibility to be here. What else might be good to inspire you? What inspires you? Music, yes, definitely. It's very uplifting. It shortcuts the journey, doesn't it, from your head to your heart. You're not thinking too much when you're listening to music. You're simply opening your feeling nature, and that's beautiful. Getting in touch. Anything else? Say again? Poetry, yes. Children, absolutely. It was just a total joy to see my 3 grandchildren coming in with my daughter and her husband this morning, just to see them with their smiling faces coming up and giving me a hug. That's priceless. Pets, yeah. Not the I, me, mine pet, but all the other pets. We're going to bounce that I, me, mine thing out. All right, seek out inspiration. 4, put a limit on how much of the world you let in, right? Because you can spend too much time in cyberspace, can't we? Too much time moaning and groaning about everything. We have to put a limit on that. Like I said, I was just in Bhutan for 2 weeks, and I didn't watch much news because there wasn't that much there, and I was focusing on other things. It was great. The minute I got back to America, guess what? He's around. And I'm not saying it's who's he, but it's he, him, the one that drags you down, right? I have to turn him off. Luckily, the people of Bhutan seem to be quite happy, and they don't have gross national product. They have gross national happiness. Did you know that? Isn't that neat? They're the only country in the world that has gross national happiness. And they are happy in general, and gracious and loving, because they're living this stuff. They're centered in it. It's quite educational to see them in action. Nobody's perfect, but they are a step up from other places of this world that are full of strife. Number 5, be friendly. We endeavor to be friendly, don't we? But sometimes we are friendly hoping that the other person's going to be friendly back. But real friendship is risking being friendly regardless of the response you're going to get on any given day, right? And then not bemoaning it when they're not friendly. Dang, I reached out to that guy and he was mean back to me. What the hell? There's no point being friendly. Nobody in this world, etc., etc. We don't want to go there. We are giving not from dualism, but from our natural, effortless, expansive nature, right? And what I've found is, in general, there may be 1 out of 10 who don't respond, but generally people respond to friendliness. Yeah? Have you found that? That's number 5. 6, see others as yourself. If there's only one of us here because we're all connected, then you are part of me and I am part of you, right? Now that sounds lovely in general, doesn't it? Oh yes, I can take on board that beautiful concept. But what about seeing it in the actual person? And then you ask yourself, because I set myself a task to do this several years ago. Whenever you see somebody, you say, that's me in another form. And then I go up to certain people, I think, even him? Even him, Lord? Yes, especially him, right? That's the work. Because if we could see the Christ, if we could see ourselves as the Christ in that person, we have made a huge shift in consciousness. Yeah? Think about somebody you really despise. They are part of you. You okay with that? Are you really okay with that? Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? But if you want spiritual progress real fast, that's going to do it for you. That's going to do it for you. Number 7, in all this talk, don't deny when you lose it. You know, we got a bad problem in unity by always being on the bright side of life. And I love doing that. But we also, when you're down and out and you lost it, acknowledge it, right? Accept it. You don't have to stew in it, but don't be in denial about it because it's not real, right? If you got a terrible diagnosis or you're going through difficulties in relationships, whatever it is, it can be bad. Acknowledge that. It's very healthy to do that, but not to live in it, right? To remember that there is something better, but right now, I just need time just to feel bad. That's okay. In fact, it's very important because we want to be real in our truth, right? Not playing games with it. Number 8, be mature. When I think of mature, I think of being stable. I mentioned that to my wife on the way over this morning. She said, no way. That's not right. It's got to be something that discernment is closer to maturity. Well, I think we're both right, you know. We had a nice little talk about it. I said, you're trying to sabotage my sermon here. I knew she wasn't, but that's the way it seemed at the time. But maturity, stable, is balanced, right? And if we discern something correctly from truth, then we also remain balanced. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the hallmark of maturity, is staying in a balanced consciousness where you can weigh both sides without shifting to one or the other. It was very helpful, actually, to have that discussion on the way over. And I love that, because truth can be seen in many different contexts, right? When you're driving down the street, sometimes you have to turn left. Other times, you have to turn right. You're not wrong because you contradicted yourself. It's just that circumstance required a left turn, that circumstance required a right turn, right? You know, the truth is very subtle in that regard. So don't think that there's one way that fits all, right? There's your way, the right way for you at this particular moment. Trust that. It's a story from the Zen tradition. How are we doing for time? There's a story from the Zen tradition about this guy's out on a lake in a boat fishing. And it's foggy. And out in the distance, there's two guys on the boat. And they're looking at this other boat coming towards them. And they start thinking, wait, what's going on here? And the boat gets closer and closer. It doesn't seem to be getting out of the way. So they start shouting, hey, man, you need to move your boat. You're going to crash into me. And still the boat keeps coming and coming and coming. And they're angry by now. Well, why is this guy doing this? What, is he an idiot? Can't he see I'm here fishing? Well, eventually the boat bumps into the fishing boat. They look and they notice it's an empty boat. It's an empty boat. There's nobody in it. So they expended all kinds of energy, anger, frustration, annoyance, over an empty boat. Life is an empty boat. We just people it with things that we don't like. The I, me minds. There's a bunch of I, me minds wandering around saying, why is there another I, me mind in there? I don't like it. Wish he'd go away. It's empty. Imagine if you could live from that context. It's all empty. I don't have to react to it. I can be wisely discerning of it. I can be loving towards it. So I suggest, love your empty boat. It's coming at you. What are you going to do with it? Number 9, have a laugh. Have we laughed enough in this sermon? Somebody got some really bad jokes? Come on, we're Unity people. We're bound to have some bad jokes. When I was in ministry, I was bombarded with them. No? All right, keep going. Keep going, have a laugh. Don't take it all too seriously. That's the bottom line. And then finally, rest at ease, relax. Yeah? Because that's the best thing you could do to not take yourself so seriously is simply to relax and enjoy in any given day. It's never as hard as we think it is. So, I bombarded you with a number of things. Now you need to tell me what one struck a chord and you're going to live from this week. Don't take it too seriously, yeah. Take a load off, right? It's okay. You have the universe in and through you. Nothing serious when you got all that power coursing through you. Thank you. Love your empty boat. Yeah. Let it float to you and bless it. Bless that boat. We thought it was full of all enemies and problems and discomfiture. What do they say? Most of us die worrying about that which doesn't happen, right? It's true. We spend all our time knitted up in tenseness that could be damaging to our health, and it never was real anyway. That's a kind of craziness. Yeah. See the Christ in everyone, even him. That's a work we could practice now till eternity, isn't it? To see that in the most despicable people that we have labeled despicable, to behold the Christ. That doesn't mean we have to like what they do or their behavior, by the way, but we behold the Christ anyway. Yeah. Maturity around our relatives. All right. What a great opportunity to empty that boat. And it's not just a gravy boat, is it? That was a really bad joke. I just thought I'd throw it in there. All right, a couple more. Hey, I got to do a meditation, don't I, after this? Do I usually do that? Do I? What's it say on there? Which one? Do I do a meditation? Yeah, okay. Better shut up then. All right, thank you so much. So let's take a moment to center ourselves. And centering And meditating, praying, being mindful is simply being present. It's not complicated. It's simply being ourselves. And yes, the monkey mind, the I, me mind consciousness grates at that, simply being present and calm. But the more we do it, the more that mind relaxes, lets us alone. So we can simply be here. And when we're here, when we're simply present to what is, then we're present to everything, to the way things are in truth. So give yourself that blessing now and sometime every day. Come home to the truth. The truth is the universe is friendly. It's flowing in and through us every moment. It has everything we need. Its nature is love and generosity. We are capable. We are strong and mature. We are wise and discerning. We're loving and kind. These are exact qualities of the awakening mind that we are. And so we claim them all, not for ourselves, but so that we can be expansive vessels of the good in our world. And when we do this, everything shifts and changes, comes into beautiful harmony and accord. And we can deal with even the most difficult of circumstances with grace and ease and civility. This is the truth. We affirm it in the name and nature of Jesus Christ and all the great way showers of this planet. We are grateful, and so it is. Amen.